Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to Podium Esports coverage of the 2021 Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series presented by AllStar Visuals, Oceanic Dirt Sim Events, and SpeedShop51.com. Glad to have you along for the ride tonight as we bring you coverage of round number 13 live from iRacing's virtual Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. Yeah, the new dirt version here. We're going to tear up a little bit on iRacing. I'm Devin Henry alongside my colleagues Justin Prince, who we will hopefully talk to here in a little bit, and also Jacob Hitz. Our producer behind the scenes today is Zach Johnson, using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Glad to have everyone tuning in tonight in what will be the final, if you want to call it, regular season race, if you will, for the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series. We won't see you again until the end of July for the big money 410 Classic in Knoxville. So, Jacob, this is the last event to really get everything underneath you, get yourself a big win, and probably one of the biggest things tonight is we're giving out money for the top 5, not just a podium affair tonight.
Just a little more money added to this purse is going to make these guys crazy when they hit the racetrack here, through the heats, through the alphabet soup, and then for the feature. You know, there's a lot more to race for tonight than there typically is. A little more money on the line. That just means we've seen some wild races the last couple of weeks. That just means the intensity is going to be ramped up here tonight at Bristol.
So there are no points in the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series. There is no entry fee. It's an open server inside of a league. The first 60 people to enter the session get to race for the cash prize. First place tonight takes home 100 buckaroos. Second place gets 75 bucks. $50 for third place, 25 for fourth place, and a $10 bill for the fifth place finisher tonight. But here at the Bristol Dirt Track, it's really unique. It's different than probably every other dirt track in iRacing, which is ironic because we were just at Lanier, which is also very different compared to your stereotypical dirt track in iRacing. So, Jacob, as the drivers go out for qualifying today, what are you looking for in this track that the drivers need to kind of figure out in their heads in order to go out and win those heat races, get themselves to tonight's A feature?
Well, this track is multi-groove until it isn't. These guys are able to throw it in the corner, run 3-4 wide sometimes, but then all that goes away, the track changes, and then everybody's kind of conga lining around the racetrack just looking for any moisture left in the racetrack. I've seen the 410s run here before on iRacing, and let me tell you, it was the biggest crash fest I've ever seen in my life. They're flying around this racetrack. There's not a lot of room. Somebody makes a mistake up at the front, and everybody is going to go piling into them. It's kind of like when IndyCar ran at Las Vegas about 10 years ago. That's what we're going to see tonight. One car gets sideways, everybody else behind them pays the price.
They're already sideways in qualifying, trying to get that best lap. You have 2 laps to do it, 2 minutes to do it at Bristol. Last week, Kendall Tucker took his 410 sprint car to victory lane for the first time this season, 5th time in the championship series. But David Heilman, when will he get back to victory lane? Went on a 2-race spurt, winning at Charlotte, winning at Kokomo. Almost got the job done last week, but now we come to Bristol, the last race for about a month and a half. 35 laps tonight in the A feature, but we will have an E main, a D main, a C main, and a B main to decide who will go into tonight's A main event. Fight for $100 to win. Here in Bristol, Tennessee, this clay track, it opened, kind of this year. Bristol Motor Speedway first covered in dirt back in 2000 and 2001 for the World of Outlaws sprint cars. And in those races, they ran 4 races. Sammy Swindell won half of them, along with Mark Kinzer won a race. Donnie Schatz won a race while it was on dirt. And then, of course, this year, put it back on dirt. David Gravel swept the weekend. Joey Logano winning the first NASCAR race on dirt for the Cup Series in over 50 years. Ready to get back rolling here for the virtual sprint cars. We'll see some real-life drivers even in the field. But first off, we have heat race number 1, including the man who set quick time, Vinny Sansone. P1 on the board. He will start P1 in heat race number 1. Tyler Schell will start off in 2nd. Trey Schmidt in 3rd. Richie Preston starts off in P4. Kevin Hanley, P5. Tyler Chalk starts off in the 6th position. Brad O'Brien in the 7th position. Darcy Wilson in 8th. Austin Griffey in 9th. Followed by Rylan Gray, Dustin Hall, Randy Shrevs. 12-car heat race in heat race number 1. We are going to have our heat races somewhat filled up. We're going to run 4 heat races tonight of 12 cars. Your top 2 are guaranteed a spot in tonight's A feature event. And Jacob, this track is very fresh right now.
Yeah, well, they're changing things up on us. I guess they thought we got too comfortable. Top three make the big show from the heat. It's not the top 2 tonight because there are only 5 heats tonight. The 5th one's getting axed because we don't have that many people, so only 4 heats. We are taking the top 3 from these heats to move on to the big show.
So top 3 move on. The next 3 will move on to the B, to the C, to the D, so on and so forth. The last thing that you want to do, though, is get stuck in that alphabet soup. So the first thing you have to do is get a good finish in your heat race. Well, I guess the first thing actually was get a good qualifying spot, but you kind of made your bed now. It's time to get rolling. Vinny Sansone will lead the field to the first green flag of the night. Tyler Schell on the outside of him. Trey Schmidt, Richie Preston, Kevin Hanley, your top 5. So Jacob, your keys here in heat race number 1 on a fresh track to get yourself a victory.
Keep the car clean. I feel like I say it every week. You got to be patient. You guys are the first. You're the first batch to go out there on a clean racetrack in a pack, really, since there are 12 of them here that are going to be racing really, really hard. Take it easy. Get your bearings here. Let everybody else get their bearings too. Keep the cars clean. Just make it to the end so you have something to fight for later on.
A .533 mile track for NASCAR. It's a .526 mile track for the World of Outlaws. I don't know how they change it, but that's how they do. Green flag underway for heat race number 1. They're already spinning the tires behind them, which isn't really something that you do, but nonetheless, how about a great start for the inside line? Tyler Chalk moves up to P1.
I think this is one of the racetracks where they have an extension off of turn 4 and they just pull the track back. I'm kidding, but it's all Vinny Sansone, Tyler Schell, Richie Preston. They're the top 3. They're the ones that are in. But Trey Schmidt, he's on the back tail, I guess, as they're making contact and they're crashing off turn 4.
1 car, 2 car, 3 car, 4, all gone and out of this heat race after that eventful beginning to this race. 10 laps here in heat race number 1, and like you said, Jacob, got to keep them clean, and now everyone's starting to really stretch it out a little bit. Brad O'Brien in 5th, and Kevin Hanley is under attack right now from Randy Shrevs, and these guys are a little bit deeper in the field. They're fighting for a B main spot right now.
Darcy Wilson and Rylan Gray were the 2 that got involved in that. Trey Schmidt is still in the back tail tank of Richie Preston looking for this 3rd spot. He's going to take it in 1 and 2, slide up the racetrack, and now here comes Preston trying to pull a crossover.
Wheel to wheel into the corner, still side by side, but pushing the cushion is going to prevail. Sansone, Schell, and Schmidt still lead the way in your top 3 transfer positions. Richie Preston about 3/10 behind Brad O'Brien, Randy Shreves. They're all tied into the B main right now. We can really see a number of different lines being executed as we come to 4 to go.
Some are going to the top, some are going to the middle, some are going to the bottom. They're all over the place. By the time we get to heat number 4, it's pretty much going to be up by the top, by the wall, trying to get the cushion as much as they can. You're not going to see them dive into the corner unless they're going to try and pull a slide job.
This time by will be 2 laps to go as things start to heat up for that final transfer spot. Trey Schmidt in the gray and white number 12 machine under attack from Richie Preston in the number 25. Right up on the tail tank and trying to work the outside group for the final spot to the A main.
And Preston's trying that outside line. Now Schmidt's going to try and take the line away and really try and screw Preston over. But tell you what, now he pulls back to the bottom. He's just going to let Preston do what he can here on the outside. Last lap.
Cutting back inside to the bottom, wheel to wheel here for the final transfer spot. Preston and Schmidt, slide job, cutting back under. Schmidt almost banging a wheel. Schmidt back into P3. Preston with issues and loses another spot. Meanwhile, Vinny Sansone took himself all the way up front. No one could touch him. Tyler Schnell, Trey Schmidt also moving on to the A main. Richie Preston, Brad O'Brien, Randy Shreves, Kevin Hanley, Tyler Chalk, Austin Griffey, Dustin Hall, Darcy Wilson, and Rylan Gray. All going to tonight's alphabet soup. They kept it pretty single file, but Jacob, that was still a very eventful heat race number 1.
And great battle there for the transfer spot. I can't wait to see what these next 3 heats have to offer, because if they're going to look like that, sign me up. I want to watch that the rest of the night.
We start off heat race number 2. Cameron Merriman will start on the pole. This one, Kendall Tucker, last week's winner, will be in second place. Tyler Wilson in third. Alex Bergeron will start outside of row number 2. A pretty stacked first couple of rows there. Blaine Brink starts off in 5th alongside Larry Moody. Landon Cardozo starts 7th with Jacob Denny starting 8th. Matthew Krogh in 9th. Joey Landeker will start in 10th. Braden Baker, Gage Stevens rounds out your 12-car heat race. Heat race number 2 about to get underway. Glad to have everyone along with us tonight, and a big thank you to Speed Shop 51, an iRacing setup shop which offers individual setup packs, coaching, custom designs, and much more. Their main goal is to help improve the skill level of all competitors across the iRacing platform. Speed Shop 51 was established in December 2020 by Clayton Tilley. For more information, you can check out their website at www.speedshop51.com or follow them on Facebook and Instagram today. Well, weather doesn't play a major factor when you get these dirt tracks unless you have high winds. Right now, wind southwest at 7 miles per hour. Really high humidity, though, at 87% right now, and that kind of hurts these cars trying to cut through the air. 80-degree air temperature and track temperature tonight under mostly cloudy Tennessee night skies. So it's not going to kill you, but having 80% humidity, that is a massive number on iRacing. And some of these drivers, with how aerodynamic the sprint cars are, you can kind of feel that to an extent.
Just imagine if this was a day race. You got Triple H's hazy, hot, and humid. It would be ugly for these guys in the race car, for the people sitting in the stands, although there aren't any people sitting in the stands of the broadcast. It'd be a fun, not really a fun, but they'd be sweating a lot throughout the night.
Now, how about these names? Cameron Merriman, Kendall Tucker, Alex Bergeron, Jacob Denny, all in this race. 4 top-tier drivers, only 3 spots to the A main. Merriman takes the early lead. Bergeron attempting to use that middle lane, but just can't get it to work. He's your final transfer right now in that black number 12.
Well, we saw Bergeron have a heartbreaker last week. He was up at the front. He was fast, just made a couple of mistakes, and that made all the difference, and he wound up just being away at the back. So hopefully he can kind of turn this around. He's still P3 looking underneath. Kendall Tucker, a surprise winner last week. Tucker holding on.
Tucker won his heat race, was able to utilize the inside line at Lanier, made it work, got the lead, got the win after holding off the rest of the field on a late restart. Now just trying to hold on to a transfer spot. Top 3 move on. Merriman, Tucker, Bergeron hold it. Wilson up on the rear tail tank right now. Bergeron. Meanwhile, a big battle right now for P6. Landon Cardozo, Jacob Denny, whipping it back and forth.
Oh, Bergeron got sent sideways there by Tucker. That's going to allow Wilson to pull up on the high side, get a run, but they all hit the wall, looks like.
Bergeron slides up 3 wide, going into the corner. Almost wheel-to-wheel. Bergeron and Brink. Inside lane not going to prevail, though, and it looks like Tyler Wilson now moves into the final transfer spot. Trouble
now
for
Bergeron.
Larry Moody. He's in the wall, and he's done.
And now Bergeron, he needs to start picking apart Tyler Wilson here to try and get by him. You're over halfway home. You got 4 to go. Where's the move going to be?
Gotta go soon. Merriman and Tucker have just driven away from the rest of the field. Tyler Wilson hoping to hold on to the final transfer spot to tonight's A main. Bergeron, Brink, Denny, your top 6. Bergeron, though, just kind of waiting to make his move there. Everyone up on the cushion.
He's got 2 to go. Landon Cardozo, I'm not sure what happened to him, but he got to tow back to pit road, so he's going to finish 12th, it looks like. But Bergeron, he's got one more shot here coming to the white flag this time around.
It will be the final lap.
Oh, my.
Make a move here. A massive slider. Couldn't quite close the door. Slides back into 4th. Back up here on the cushion, trying to drive it off the corner. Has a gap to make up, though, here on the white flag lap. Again, massive slider, sending it all the way to the bottom. Slides on up.
Oh!
And that is in motocross called a block pass. Alex Bergeron finds a way to get into the top 3 and into tonight's A main.
And I'm sure Tyler Wilson is very happy inside that race car, knowing that Bergeron just kicked the door down and then slammed it back in his face there coming off turn 4. That was an incredible move there by Bergeron to get himself in, and that's going to put Wilson in the B main.
Cameron Merriman, Kendall Tucker, Alex Bergeron to tonight's A feature event. Tyler Wilson, Blaine Brink, Jacob Denny, Matthew Krogh, Joey Lochauer, Gage Stevens, Braden Baker, Larry Moody, Landon Cardozo. all going to the alphabet soup. Now time for heat race number 3. Slide jobs have worked, mind you. Austin Semmelman and David Heilman will start on the front row. Ernie Williams Jr., he's had some good showings this season. Garrett Holsey, that makes up row 2. Felix Roy starts P5 alongside Jeremy Weigel. Kevin Bernheimer starts in 7th. Peyton Grice in 8th. Justin Zapotowski in 9th. Jordan Maherter 10th. Justin Verhey in 11th. Catherine Alston rounds out your 12-car field for heat race number 3. So, Jacob, what have we learned so far besides if you can make the slide job work, you can get up the track in time sometimes?
Well, you can make the slide job work. You just got to park the bus on corner exit, and you can't let the person behind you get back by around the outside. Otherwise, the slide job works just fine. Really, I think the outside line is the way to go. Unless you send it in down on the bottom, you're not going to be able to pass somebody on the bottom. The outside line is superior here, and we're going to see these guys probably single file through these next 2 heats, minus the slide jobs.
And we've seen the middle start to slick off to an extent. It's by no means something where you can't drive that middle lane, but it still looks like everyone really wants that real estate on the cushion.
I don't blame them.
Trying to whip it around, rip the lip, get yourself into the top 3 to transfer into tonight's $100 to win feature event. $75 for second, $50 for third, $25 for fourth, an extra $10 just to finish inside the top 5 for 5th place. Austin Semmelman on the inside to lead things off alongside David Heilman, Ernie Williams Jr., Garrett Holsey, Felix Roy, your top 5 for heat race number 3. We got 4 of them here, second to last one. So guys in heat 4, start taking notes before we move on to the alphabet soup here in the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series, live from Bristol Motor Speedway, the dirt track giving us the action tonight. Semmelman hits the loud pedal. He's got a good gap. Ernie Williams Jr. can't quite fend off Garrett Holsey, though, for third.
Ernie Williams Jr. did a great job there getting himself to the high side right away and taking the line away from Halsey, taking that 3rd spot. It's looking good for him right now, but we know Halsey's fast. We'll have to see what he can pull here. Still got a long way to go.
Roy and Weigel, wheel to wheel. Weigel going way down low, got a little bit caught up in the slick stuff, though, as did Austin Semmelman. The 82 machine now under fire from Heilman, and Williams right up on the rear tail tank.
Yeah, Selman's trying to get this bottom to work, and I'm not sure if he's just experimenting for later on as we got trouble. Felix Roy got turned around. Looks like he was able to keep it going, though, but Semmelman is just trying to make the bottom work, but Heilman is just hauling the mail on the high side. They're going to get him here in a few laps.
Semmelman hugging that inside, what would be the apron on the asphalt track, or even more so, I think he might already be over the apron. Now deciding to move up to that outside lane. Heilman holding on to P2, but Ernie Williams Jr. still under attack. Garrett Holsey has not given up yet, as now looks like Heilman had some issues on the cushion, got really squirrely. Now he's on the bubble.
Yeah, I think he got the wall, and Ernie Williams Jr. just got the wall, and he's going to fall all the way back to 6th, maybe more, 7th, 8th. He's way off the pace. So that's going to put Heilman and Halsey safely in. Halsey around the outside of Heilman. Oh, and Ernie Williams Jr.'s up and over.
Some major suspension issues probably to that machine, and he's going to have to tow, and he will be in tonight's lowest feature event that we have. Heilman using the inside lane, pulls back up wheel to wheel with Halsey. Can't quite find the grip. Slide job into this corner. Halsey crosses him back over there. Still side by side across the stripe. 3 laps to go.
And Heilman just got the wall, and he's going to lose a ton of time to Halsey. It's going to allow Bernheimer to close in, but not close enough. Catherine Ralston just parked the car. Weigel is stopped. We've got 7 guys left on the racetrack right now. Everybody else is parked.
Well, I tell you what, I'd love to be the leader in any of these heat races because the leaders tonight have not been trifled with. Austin Semmelman, a 1.3 second advantage over Garrett Holsey, who has a mighty fine advantage over David Heilman. Those top 3 have checked out from the rest of the field. Final lap to go here. Now, some drivers, I think, are just trying to work out different grooves on the track, but Austin Semmelman, he learned something. He cruises along to heat race number 3 win. Garrett Holsey, David Heilman, they are all moving on to tonight's A main. Kevin Bernheimer, Jordan Maherter, Felix Roy, Justin Zapotowski, Catherine Ralston, Jeremy Weigel, everyone else going into tonight's Alphabet Soup. Final heat race about to get underway now here at Bristol. Well, always glad to be teaming up with Oceanic Dirt Sim Events, the Australian iRacing League, who specializes in dirt events. For more info on Oceanic Dirt Sim Events, be sure to visit at Oceanic_Dirt_Sim_Events today on Instagram. Take part. Aussies are always fun. Love some of the racing in Australia and New Zealand over the winter months. And you can do it every month of the year on iRacing with Oceanic Dirt Sim Events. Aiden Berlin will be on the front row here on pole for heat race number 4, as you just saw a moment ago. Hunter Wise will be alongside him. Sean Brown starting off in the 3rd position alongside Jesse Dacus. Eddie Hartley starting off in P5. Carlin Cure, P6. Cody Meadows inside of row number 4 alongside Curtis Merriman. Lashin Barbar starts off in 9th. Steven Stickler in 10th. Landon Crawley in P11. Our final heat race of the day. The center of the track starting to get a little bit of wear here, Jacob, but nonetheless, everyone has been, fine, I guess. Some drivers have overdriven the corners, but besides that, you can kind of keep yourself straight for the most part. The track hasn't slicked off too bad.
But I think at the end of that last heat, what we saw, everybody migrated from the top to the bottom. I think the cushion has lost everything it's got up by the wall, and they just have to go to the bottom because that's the only place that they can go to find grip. Want to note that we get a track reset after this heat for the Alphabet Soup. So the E-Main is going to be on a fresh racetrack again, which we'll see what happens. Some of these guys may be used to a worn-out racetrack. Some of these guys may be used to a fresh racetrack. We'll see who it plays in favor for.
The E-Main, the first semi of the night, will be 12 laps. The top 5 advance to the D-Main. But right now we are focusing on 3 advancing, 10 laps here at Bristol for the final heat race. Berlin able to get himself a good start. Sean Brown on the inside taking away P2.
And Brown is trying on that bottom, and he's trying to make it work. He almost got Berline back there as they're almost crashing down the front straightaway. But Byron Brown Wise, your top 3.
Jesse Dacus currently stalking Hunter Wise, your final transfer spot. Dacus in that yellow machine right on the rear tail tank almost of Hunter Wise. Lost a little bit of time there on the outside. Everyone's starting to line up single file. Your top couple of drivers, looks like in the wall. That's Hunter Wise. Out of a transfer he goes.
Yeah, he falls all the way back to 5th. That allows Hartley to get by and Dacus. We'll see if Hartley can get there, but Wise is now trying to get back by Hartley in turn 1.
Issues for Barberry. He goes around and he will have to head to the back of this field. Meanwhile, Hunter Wise will try to fight on back, but he has plenty of people trying to fight him. Jesse Dacus has now moved into the 3rd position. Eddie Hartley attempting to move on up, get onto the rear tail tank of Dacus, but Beerlane and Sean Brown, they're gone again. Top 2 checking out.
And they're running the bottom like the apron down by the inside wall. Everybody else is running up on the rest of the racetrack. Gazoo, Landon Crawley almost got turned down the back straightaway and lost a couple spots. He falls back to 7th, but it's all Byron and Brown right now.
Eddie Hartley losing time to Jesse Dacus, trying a different line to slide it while Dacus cuts off the end of the corner. Carlin Cure in that number 7 machine, working that inside lane, attempting to pass on Hartley, who cuts him off a little bit on the bottom. Now Hunter Wise back on the attack, trying to get to Cure's rear bumper, and makes a little bit of contact.
I think Dacus has this 3rd spot in the bag. Unless he makes a big mistake, I don't see Hartley or Cure being able to catch him in the little time that he's got left. And of course, as I say that, Dacus blinks out of existence and now comes back with the white flag in hand.
Final time around, Beerline will get himself an easy victory so long as he can keep it out of the wall. It's a battle right now for the 4th position between Hartley and Cure. And they're just looking outside, hoping that they can get to the A-Main, but for now it will all be for naught. Beerline will move on to the A-Main along with Sean Brown, Jesse Dacus, Carlin Cure, Eddie Hartley, Hunter Wise, Landon Crawley, Cody Meadows, Lanchin Barbar, Steven Sittler, and Curtis Merriman. They're all going into the Alphabet Soup. And for those going into the E-Main, it's a quick turnaround. You're back on track right now.
But a fresh racetrack. So maybe your car's not set up for a worn out track like that, but you're set up for a fresh track like you're going to have here. Could make a difference.
All right, well, it's time to take a look at what we have going on. Who will be able to move on the top 5 advance from this E-main? Dustin Hall will start off P1 alongside Braden Baker. Catherine Ralston will start off P3. Steven Sittler, P4. Darcy Wilson rounds out your top 5 with Larry Moody outside of row number 3. Ernie Williams Jr. will start on the outside looking in 7th. Curtis Merriman in 8th. Inside of row 5 is Rylan Gray alongside Landon Cardoza. Justin Burry will start in 11th. Top 5 move on to tonight's D main event. Well, I'm sure you know this by now. It's been a long season, but AllStar Visuals is your home for high-quality graphic design and outstanding customer service. If you are looking for a new racing logo or hero cards, look no further. AllStar Visuals has you covered. For more information, visit facebook.com/AllStarVisuals today. Well, everyone in this heat race hoping for some all-star visuals, meaning clear track in front of them. The pole sitter in the heat races has had a lot of breathing room in front and behind. So if you can get a good jump here, it might mean an easy trip to tonight's D main. We saw a couple of guys a few weeks ago go all the way from the E all the way into the A main event, but it's already difficult enough, and then you come to a difficult track like this and you're going to have a hard time.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult because you screw up here, and you're pretty much done. This is your last chance to stay alive and have a shot at the money that's at the end of this deal.
It's all about the money. $260 purse tonight in the A main event. Top 5 will all get a piece of it. First, you got to get through the E though. If you got stuck back here from your heat race, 12 laps, top 5 move on to the back of the D main. Dustin Hall, Braden Baker pacing the field. They could high-five each other if they wanted to in the cockpit. Dustin Hall checks out quick. Meanwhile, at the back of the field, all Hornets nest into 1, 3 wide, a little bit of contact.
Yeah, and that just took out Ralston. Already coming to pit road. I think they're pretty much done. We got one flying through the air. It's Ernie Williams Jr. So just like that, he's done.
Well, that's a quick 2 down. That means that only 3 cars left on track are going home. I guess your odds might have just went up if you're sitting in the back of the pack. But right now, Dustin Hall, Braden Baker, and Darcy Wilson all still going at it inside the top 3. Every finishing position here is worth 1 spot in the D main coming up next. So every spot counts.
And it's the top 5 of transfers. Right now, it's Landon Cardoza hanging on to that spot. But Curtis Merriman is in his tire tracks right now for that 5th spot.
Larry Moody's in the picture as well. They are all looking to get themselves into the final transfer spot. 1 position, or actually 2 positions really, because now Sittler had an issue. Cardoza moves into 4th. Sittler now under attack from Merriman and Moody.
Yeah, this is where the action's at right now. I know Darcy Wilson and Braden Baker having a good battle, but this is what matters right here. Cardoza, Sittler, Merriman, and Moody. They're trying to break in this deal.
Hall, Baker, Wilson still duking it out for first. Cardoza and Sittler, your final 2 transfer spots. Moody and Merriman attempting to make chase halfway through E main. Top 5 go to the D main, and you still see this hound of cars. This is 4th through 7th. 2 of them will move on. 2 of them go home as it stands right now.
Man, and Moody just chopped Merriman there. That could have gotten dangerous, but he's all over Sittler. He just can't quite find a way. Now he goes to the outside. He might have a chance here.
And you can almost see that second groove working in with all the marbles. There's a really low cushion setting into this track. And you can almost use that as a lip as Sittler again gets squirrely and will lose 2 spots. He is now outside the transfer. Move up Larry Moody to the final transfer spot. But Merriman is right on that tail tank.
Yeah, Merriman's got a shot here. Of course, Cameron Merriman, he's flying everywhere we go. Curtis Merriman, he just wants to make the show. He's got a long way to go if he can make it through the E-main here, but he's giving it everything he's got. 2 to go.
Hall, Baker, and Wilson, no change up front, but they're still looking like a choo-choo train. Cardoza and Moody, your final 2 transfers. Merriman and Sittler hoping to make it on in. You're watching off of Curtis Merriman's machine. He is one spot out looking in here. Final lap from Bristol for the E-main event. Trying to work that outside lane. Dustin Hall will take home the win. Your final spot will go to Larry Moody, holding off Curtis Merriman. Dustin Hall, Braden Baker, Darcy Wilson, Landon Cardoza, Larry Wilson. They all stay alive. They're all moving to our D feature. Well, still a little bit of excitement, still a little bit of battling. So Dustin Hall wins that race. He will start 9th on the grid here in the D feature. Again, top 5 will advance to the C. So everyone who is in that E feature event, they got some work to do. We start things off with Tyler Chalk. He started in the front of his heat race, slid back. He starts pole in the D. Joey Lankauer, he starts off in 2nd. Jeremy Weigel, he starts in 3rd. Cody Meadows, P4. Austin Griffey starts inside of row number 3 alongside Gage Stevens. Peyton Grice starts in P7. Lashton Barbari will start in 8th. Dustin Hall, your E-main winner in 9th. Braden Baker 10th. Darcy Wilson, Landon Cardoza, Larry Moody round out your 13-car D-main event. Well, D-main, 5 move on to the C-main. Track is evolving, but it's still a very low cushion right now. You really don't need to push it too high on the track, even though that option is available, Jacob.
No, and I tell you what, that E-main was relatively calm compared to the last couple of weeks. So we'll see what happens here in the D-main, but you're going to have some hungry guys like Dustin Hall, Braden Baker, those guys at the back. They want to move on, and they've got a big ladder to climb here in a short amount of time to try and get up to the top and make their way into the C-main.
A no-show from Austin Griffey. The inside row will move up 1 position each. 1 lane, I guess I should say, each. And we now welcome in Justin Prince to the broadcast booth. Glad to have you, Justin. And hey, Bristol Dirt is kind of a strange looking track. What do you think these guys need to do on still a pretty fresh track here to get them into the C-main?
Well, the main thing is going to be trying to utilize the lanes, and I think it's going to be very critical when it comes to this racetrack to be able to make slide jobs and try and aim things up properly when it comes to the speeds here as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see drivers try and move up a little bit as this run goes on.
See things start pushing the cushion up towards the wall. Green flag in the air. Tyler Chalk.
Oh, they're already wrecking.
Ooh, 1 car got turned. That's Darcy Wilson out of the E-main and now done. And
still
now
wrecking.
Big
Big wreck.
down the back straight.
That's Cardoza. There's Barbary. Got another one on inside. Dustin Hall. That's 4 out of the 5 that were in the E-main that are wrecked in the first corner of the first lap. They're still wrecking over here.
Oh,
Larry Moody, Peyton Grease, he gets hit by Cardoza. Cardoza just got pushed onto pit road.
Boy, things are wild here, and no, there are no cautions until we get to the A-main event. 2 laps down, 10 to go, and now Tyler Chalk gets turned from the lead.
And he's upside down. Joey LaDucer's on his side. He was in the top 5. We've only got 5 guys left.
Well, at this point, if they can all keep it straight, they're all going to transfer as Lucier is all stuck. Cody Meadows, Jeremy Weigel, Braden Baker, Larry Moody, Tyler Chalk is now your remaining top 5 to transfer. And Justin, you just came actually from working the Chicago Street Course race. We won't spoil anything for maybe someone who wants to go back and watch that, but from what it sounds like, this race looks pretty similar.
Yeah, nice and spread out, to say the very least, amongst these competitors. And it's going to be interesting, though, how these drivers try and fare out. Keep in mind, Cody Meadows has already reached traffic. That is Peyton Grice that he's trying to move on by on the outside and trying to get that cushion working.
And getting by Peyton Grice, that officially makes this race with only 5 cars on the lead lap. If those 5 cars can keep it straight and not get into the trouble, they will advance to the C-main. But I guess more importantly at this point, even though we're spread out, Jacob, every spot that you can get here is 1 extra spot that you will start in for the C-main.
Yeah, but we just saw everybody in the last 4 rows get taken out. So,
Yeah, Grice is very Moody out.
Wow, those are what is now 5th and 6th. Moody has to tow. Rise is also stuck on his lid. And how many laps do we have to go? Larry Moody might have to tow,
3.
and I think he might still get this win, or the transfer spot at least. This is going to be weird.
Yeah, Peyton Grease just got kicked from the service, so Larry Moody's locked in because everybody else is on pit road. So Moody is safe in the 5th spot.
So we'll have 4 drivers, at least I hope, qualify into the C main on the lead lap. And it looks like Larry Moody, who is 2 laps down, is going to end up advancing as well. Chaos, the name of the game here. Hey, I guess all the heat races in the E main were too calm, apparently. we had to equal it all back out. White flag for Cody Meadows. He's going to get this D main win, move on to the C. Jeremy Weigel will also move on in second. Braden Baker, Tyler Chalk. Somehow, some way, Larry Moody, 4 laps down, will advance on. He will live to fight another race in the C main. All the chaos that we were missing moments ago just all encapsulated itself in the D main. Okay. I hope everyone had a chance to get some water, catch their breath. I hope none of your favorite drivers got sent to the moon too bad, because now it's time for the C main event. Same thing here, 12 laps, top 5 transfer. Randy Treves will start in P1. Jacob Denny outside of him. Felix Roy in P3 alongside Hunter Wise. Inside of row 3 is Kevin Hanley and Matthew Croak. Justin Zapolonsky will start in 7th. Landon Crawley in 8th. Cody Meadows, he won the D main. He will start off in 9th. Jeremy Weigel, Braden Baker, Tyler Chalk, Larry Moody. 13 cars, 5 move on to the C main after 12 laps. Justin, I'm glad you joined us at the perfect time to just witness chaos at its best.
That's a way to phrase it, absolutely. And I seen, well, when things calmed down, that the top line started to come into play for some of the main drivers. So we'll have to see how things play out with the cushion now going to be a bit of a factor. I wouldn't be surprised to see some great runs from that outside line down the straightaways as a result, with drivers still trying to utilize some of that moisture right around the bottom of the racetrack. You can see how much wider this track is starting to get as this night progresses.
And to that point, Jacob, we saw in the heat races, it started up high and then everyone started to migrate down to the bottom. At least the leaders were. Might we see the same thing here in the C main?
If there are enough cars left, absolutely.
That is the hope, at least. But you also see all the marbles that were in the center of the corner have now migrated up the track. And like Justin said, this cushion's going to continue to push up and up. The track will get wider and wider. And the center of the track, you can already see a slight shine in the middle. It's kind of where it's dark in the middle and then it has a light dirt sandwich on the top and bottom. That's all starting to slick off, and that is going to grow as these races move on to the C, to the B. We'll see who advances to the A main event. First, you got to get the job done here, though, in the C. 12 laps, top 5 move on. Treves and Denny on the front row. Roy and Wise, Hanley Croak, your first 3 rows. iRacing pace truck peels on off. Treves hits the loud pedal, and just like every race so far, the pole sitter having himself a night thus far on lap number 1.
Our nice launch, and Jacob Dunning doing a great job to keep up, but I'm keeping my eye on that bubble because Kevin Hanley is already side by side for position. As one driver bounces off the wall, they continue to fight, and one more is flipping.
Croak is flipping. Chalk flipped already. He came out of the last main event, so 2 drivers already knocked out of this one, Jacob, as they fight 3 wide in a multitude of positions.
Yeah, this isn't going to help the car count here at the end of this deal, but hey, you know what? If you're crashing, you can still make the feature or still move up. I guess that's all right with me, but they seem to sort it out now. It's just everybody single file choo-choo train around the top of the racetrack.
Big old choo-choo train. They're starting to get a little bit rowdy, bobbing and weaving. Zapolonsky in the 7th position right now has some work to do. That big group that you see, they're still on the outside looking in. Your final transfer spot right now is that red, white, and blue 110 of Kevin Hanley.
And Justin right now trying to utilize the bottom, just couldn't make it work. It seems, though, if you get to somebody's outside, you're likely leapfrogging them for position. So I think at this point, the top line is the line right now you want to be at.
Weigel using that outside lane to get a spot on Crawley, who pushes way up the track, gets into Weigel. Crawley able to hold on to 6, and just like that, this group of 4 has lost touch with Kevin Hanley, the final transfer spot.
Who haven't lost touch? It's Crawley and Weigel. They're beating and banging all over each other like they've got fenders on these things. In fact, they almost wrecked each other off here out 4. My gosh. They're just trying to wad him up, and there goes Meadows. He's in the wall.
Meadows tried to thread the needle. It worked until it didn't. And Meadows gets pushed back to 9th. Still wheel-to-wheel here for Crawley and Weigel. And they're still losing a chunk of time to Kevin Hanley. This is not helping either of their cases right now, coming to 3 laps to go.
The only thing these drivers can hope for is a mistake up in front at this point, because the separation, you're not going to close it up in time. They are losing 0.2 of a second a lap to the battle for 4th position on the racetrack.
Treves is still leading. Jacob Denny is still within striking position. Hunter Wise in 3rd. Kevin Hanley is now moved up to 4th, pushing Felix Roy to the bubble spot. Roy, though, has over a second on Weigel and Crawley. Still Hanley attempting to hold off Felix Roy for the 4th position. The battle up front, though, Randy Treves holding off Jacob Denny. Denny just got a real-life win, actually, at US 24 Speedway on Saturday night, dubbed Indiana's fastest micro-sprint track, and now just trying to bring it into the A main tonight in the virtual world. Final lap, checkered flag, and it will be Randy Treves taking the win, followed by Jacob Denny, Hunter Wise, Kevin Hanley, Felix Roy, all advancing to the B main event. Everyone else, their night is done.
Eventful one, to say the very least there, Devin, as these drivers, though we're going to have an intriguing battle. We have several fast drivers starting towards the back and several underdogs starting towards the front. I think for this B, it's going to be very intense to see who makes it to tonight's feature.
This is going to be interesting because we move up the amount of drivers that move on from 5 to 8. 13 car field, 8 advance to the A main, all led off by Richie Preston on pole. Tyler Wilson will be to the outside of him. Kevin Bernheimer in 3rd, Carlin Cure in 4th. Inside of row 3 is Brad O'Brien. Blaine Brink in 6th, Jordan Maherter in 7th, Eddie Hartley in 8th. Those are the first 8 drivers, first 4 rows. Right now they are on the inside of the top 8. Your winner from the last main, Randy Treves, will start in 9th, Jacob Denny 10th, Hunter Wise 11th, Kevin Hanley, in 12th, Felix Roy in 13th. The cushion has certainly moved up now, guys, so this is where the track becomes even more technical and the smaller mistakes become larger mistakes. And it looks like Blaine Brink, no show here in the B main. So the outside rows will now move up a lane, or the outside lanes move up a row from 3rd row on back. That will allow, I believe, Jacob Denny will start in the 8th position now. So he's on the inside.
Gonna help him a little bit to be able to try and battle for that bubble spot. I'm expecting to be fairly intense for said position because Hanley's got good speed back there. Treves has definitely got good speed. Roy's got the speed. He's been able to make a few mains this season. It's going to be intense, I think, once we get to the start, though, amongst these drivers around 3rd on back, because a lot of these competitors, I'm curious to see how they hold up around that point.
12 cars, 8 positions move on to tonight's A main event with a $260 purse. Who can take it home tonight? And I got to finish in the top 5 of the A. First, you got to get through this B main. Preston launches away from the rest of the field and leaves everyone else in his dust. Wilson takes 2nd, Kieran Bernheimer in 4th, and it looks like Maherter is already in the fence and his day will be done.
Not the start he was looking for, as Kure is already trying to go for 2nd spot. Looking to try and utilize it while doing it on the bottom with a bit of that moisture buildup that's still down there.
Wheel to wheel, the 7 machines trying to make work as more drivers crash behind them. Every driver that knocks out is one more opportunity to gain a spot and get into the final transfer. They are still duking it out right now. Kier, Bernheimer, Brian, Denny, they're all in a cluster right now.
Yeah, it was Hunter Wise that crashed. He's still rolling though, but back in the 11th spot, almost 5 seconds behind the rest of the pack. He still has a chance though, because I have a feeling the rest of the pack isn't done wrecking yet, but Bernheimer trying to get by Cure, can't quite do it.
Almost banging wheels. Bernheimer will once again attack on the inside. He's driving right in the middle of the slick stop and almost loses control. He'll lose 2 spots at least and gets back up to the cushion. Now Hanley working on him, and Hanley will take away P6. How about Jacob Denny is now moving up to the 4th position. He got 2 for 1 there when Bernheimer had an issue.
Denny's been somebody that's ran inside the top 10 in a lot of the features this season. It's just a matter of making his way up there, and he's got a little bit more speed down the straightaways compared to some of the others. By the way, Bernheimer's around. He was in 8th.
Was in the transfer, and that is all gone now. Preston, Wilson, Denny now into 3rd, Cure, O'Brien, Hanley, Chavez, and Felix Roy. Your top 8. 9th place is almost a second behind Felix Roy, so if these cars can keep it straight for the next 4 laps, they will move on to tonight's A main event.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Everybody's kind of keeping cool heads up at the front as they're going to lap Bernheimer here. Everybody is making life easy for everybody else for the most part. I think this is pretty much what we're going to look like heading into the A-main here. I don't see too much changing.
At least that's what a lot of these drivers hope. The less speeding and banging, the more of a chance that you have, Justin, to move on to tonight's A-main. So maybe just trying out different lines right now for the A-main event.
Yeah, right now the top 8 have a big cushion compared to where Eddie Hartley was after he banged the wall a few laps ago. 0.7 of a second cushion for this final lap or so. All they need to do is simply keep it off the wall and don't crash.
That's the hope. O'Brien was flirting with the wall there. He'll keep it clean, try to slide Carlin Cure going into the final corner. Richie Preston takes the win. Jacob Denny, Tyler Wilson, your top 3. Brad O'Brien does take away 4th from Carlin Cure. Randy Chavez, Kevin Hanley, Felix Roy. Your 8 cars moving into the A main event tonight, paying $260. If you finish in the top 5, $100 for first, $75 for second, $50 for third, $25 for fourth, $10 for fifth. Well, everyone now heading to the track to warm up. One final chance here, guys, to get yourself set. Only 60 seconds here before our feature event at Bristol.
And not a lot of time to work in yourselves and get yourself into a rhythm. But as we've seen, the cushion is the way to go. All the way up against that outside wall is the quickest way around the track, Devin.
We'll take a break, bring it back. Who can take home the money in the final race of the regular season for the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series live on Podium Esports. Back to the virtual Dirt Bristol Motor Speedway in the virtual Tennessee, if you will, on iRacing live on Podium Esports for the 2021 Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series. The A main event ready to kick on off. On the pole will be Mr. Fast Time himself, Vinny Sansone, starting P1 in the number 80 machine. Cameron Merriman will start off in second. Austin Semmelman will start inside of row number 2. Aiden Berlin will start outside of him in fourth. Tyler Schell will start in fifth. Kendall Tucker, last week's winner, P6. Garrett Holsey starts in the 7th position with Sean Brown in 8th. Trey Schmidt starts off in 9th. Alex Bergeron rounds out our top 10, Justin.
11th spot tonight goes the direction of David Heilman, with Jesse Dunkas getting 12th position. Richie Preston starts in 13th with Jacob Denny in 14th. Tyler Wilson in 15th. Brad O'Brien starts in 16th. Colin Cure starts in 17th. Randy Treves in 18th. Kevin Hanley, Felix Roy will round out the 20 drivers in the field, Devin.
Vinny Sansone yet to take home a checkered flag this season. Keep an eye maybe on the 5th place driver of Tyler Schell. Remember, he won a race back in March at Eldora, a similar-ish track, if you will, in iRacing to Bristol. But Jacob, we saw this track evolve. We've seen the drivers, I think, really change their approach at points at this track. So through all these races, what have you learned that these drivers need to have ready to go here for this A main to take home a win?
patience, because we're going to be following the pace truck a lot tonight. Based off of those, based off the alphabet soup, we're going to see a lot of cautions. At the beginning, I think we may get a solid run here at the end, but for the most part, we're going to see a lot of iPacing more than iRacing to start this thing.
Vinny Sansone, the orange number 80, to start things off. Cameron Merriman in second, Austin Semmelman third, Aiden Berline in fourth, Tyler Schell, your top five. $100 to win, then $75, $50, $25, and $10. Who will take home some cash in the final regular season event for the 2021 Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series? The iRacing pace truck is off. Vinny Sansone takes the field, and we are underway at Bristol Motor Speedway. 3 wide going into turn 1.
That was not a clean start from Sansone. Him and Merriman made contact, but Merriman and Semmelman still side by side. Byerly looking to the outside. He's going to make it 3. How about 4 wide for second off of turn 4?
Woo, I think maybe Semmelman might have been the safest spot there.
Oh! Tyler Schell got loose, and he's going to lose easily 10 spots through turn 1.
Unfortunate for Schell, who started in the 5th position. We're still throwing bombs left and right. I think Trey Schmidt had an issue.
Crash.
This is Sean Brown.
And Garrett Halsey, he's involved too. Brown went tumbling down the front stretch, and Halsey was pretty much the driving force and pushing him up and over down the front straightaway. Both cars are effectively killed.
Boy, I think it is as simple as they ran out of real estate on corner exit. And when it comes to a track like this where everyone is gunning for real estate, you're never quite sure, Jacob, how many cars wide you are coming off a corner.
No, not really. And you see there's a little bit of contact on the outside, and then Halsey head on into the outside wall. He gets hit. Sean Brown goes tumbling down the straightaway. Ugh.
Well, we'll see if Vinny Sansone can get a better takeoff this time. I think that the leader has ran away in every start except for one of our 4 heat races. The second place driver got the best jump, and then he was never even bothered the rest of the race. As you look at the wreck one more time, and that will end the day for a number of drivers who started inside the top 10. I think Tyler Schell, who's now in the 12th position, this almost helps him out. Started 5th, got caught up early, but Vinny Sansone up front. Single file restart here. He can kind of recollect himself and try to get back out to a big lead. You know that Berline and Cameron Merriman, Austin Semmelman, Kendall Tucker, Alex Bergeron, David Heilman, those are the 6 immediate cars behind him. And this is when you know when a series like this is just so mean, when you got 4 world championship drivers inside the top 6 right now.
It's a lot of folks behind him there, and it's going to make it very interesting to see what happens. He's got a lot of talent behind him that are going to be eager here. They just need one mistake out of Sansone, and they're going to be ready to pounce.
Yeah, that's all you really need here. And Sansone, we'll see exactly what he can do. A former driver for the iRacing World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. So still looking, though, for his first win, I believe, here in the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series. Could it come tonight at Bristol Motor Speedway on the dirt, a track just added into iRacing this year? When the World of Outlaws return, David Gravel sweeping the weekend. Names like Mark Kinter, Sammy Swindell, former winners here in the real world at Bristol Motor Speedway. Lining back up, one by one. Single file restarts here. Vinny Sansone to lead things back off, followed by Aiden Berline, Cameron Merriman, Austin Semmelman, Kendall Tucker, Alex Bergeron, David Heilman, Trey Schmidt, Jesse Dacus, Jacob Denny now up to the 10th position already. Pace truck peels off, stacking them up on the outside lane. There goes Sansone, back underway. 3 laps in here at Bristol.
Merriman did not get a good restart. He gets passed by Selman. Kendall Tucker's right there as well as they're slipping and sliding off at 2. Merriman just got the worst restart out of everybody else up in the top 10.
Little bit sideways. Everyone's still trying to work different lanes, and right now that inside lane doesn't have all the grip to it that you would like, but at the very least, you know, Austin Selman's going to at least give it a shot, and now Cameron Merriman joins him on the inside.
Yeah, Merriman was running the outside line, and I think he just said, heck with it. If it's working for Selman, let's try the bottom. Let's see what happens.
mix things up a little bit. We saw the insides work in the heat race for the most part at first, and then everyone had to begin their migration up the track. Still continuing to battle here throughout the field, but the front pack right now still throwing the car around. Berlin off of turn number 4 was able to get a good run, squares up Sansone, slides him, and takes the lead. Sansone a little squirrely. Now he's going to lose second to Merriman.
Caution's out. Big crash front straightaway. Felix Roy on his roof. Randy Shreve involved, and Felix Roy up on top of the pit wall here in the front straightaway.
Felix Roy wasn't even done flipping yet when you started talking about him. A nasty one. We complete 5 more laps of our 35 laps. 8 down, and here's what happened. We get a little bit wild popcorn here.
Oh, wow. Got ramped off of 2 other cars and just end over end down the straightaway. Big air, too. Wow.
Well, I bet Vinny Sansone wishes that caution could have come out, I don't know, like 10 seconds sooner. Sansone now moves back to 3rd. Berlin will now move up to 1st. Cameron Merriman in now P2. We'll take a look at how this starts. It just starts with one itty bitty bit of contact in turn 4, and now 5 cars with major damage.
Yeah, so Felix Roy, he's done for the night. Halsey is out. Sean Brown is out. Everybody else is still in this deal, so we're down to 17 cars. But I tell you what, Byerlin getting out in front, that kind of impressed me. I didn't expect him to be a leading car. You know, top 5 is what I expected since that's where he's been all night. But tell you what, with Sansone making that mistake, that allowed Byerlin to get out in front. Merriman and Settleman are right there as well. And here comes Alex Bergeron. He's P5. Don't forget about him.
Yeah, Bergeron started, I believe, in the 8th position, and so he's been able to move up a few positions and just start climbing her way up just a smidge here, a little bit more, and there's still plenty of time in this race. Coming to complete lap number 8 when we go green out of 35. So in the way that everyone is kind of stacked up on the starts, we haven't seen too much horrendous chaos for a lot of drivers. Obviously, a couple of them have had to fly back like Tyler Schnell, but for the most part, if you can just stick on someone's tail tank, then you line up your single file, and if you have the right setup, just start picking them off.
You just got to be patient when you're trying to get by, guys. And, you know, 35 laps isn't a lot of time, but with the cautions and everything, it feels like an eternity. So just take it easy, get your breath here, because you're bound to have another caution before this thing's said and done.
Aiden Barline looking for his first win with the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series. He finds himself out front now at Bristol. Merriman, Sansone, and Semmelman, Bergeron, Tucker, Heilman, all there on the rear bumper. Tyler Schnell is also there as well. I believe all of those are drivers who have won previously except for Vinny Sansone. So you have all previous winners and then the guy who set quick time today right on your bumper.
As soon as green flag flies, hit the gas. Get the heck out of town, because there is a lot of talent behind you here. You know, Merriman, he needs one more win to tie Alex Bergeron for the most all-time in the series. I'm sure Alex Bergeron would like to extend his record. Austin Semmelman has been good the last couple of weeks. Sansone started on pole. Kendall Tucker won last week. David Heilman's been on a roll the last couple of weeks. 1st through 7th, there is a lot of great talent there that could keep Aiden Byerlin awake at night here, depending on how this thing goes.
I believe Heilman at least 3 straight races on the podium, looking to extend that here at Bristol. Back underway, 8 laps down. Barline able to get a massive gap on Merriman. Sansone and Semmelman now going at it for 3rd.
Yeah, Sansone didn't get a good restart, kind of like Merriman didn't get a good restart from that 3rd spot the last time around, and he's going to get hit, and he's going to crash. Big crash on the front straightaway. Oh, he's up over the pit wall, in pit lane flipping. Vinny Sansone and Kendall Tucker, last week's winner, are both on their side on the front straightaway, and they are done. They're not winning the Benjamin Franklin at the end of the night here at Bristol.
They're almost 4 wide coming out of the corner, and it's a good thing that Semmelman was a little bit further up the track. Otherwise, he would have been collected in that as well if they were 4 wide. And 2 very fast drivers, 2 of the quickest drivers that we've had all day. their days are done, and you quickly see guys like Tyler Schnell starting to move his way up the running order after he had a horrific beginning to his race. Every driver that ends their day, it's one more spot for someone to maybe grab at least that $10 in fifth.
Yeah, that was a hard hit for St. So, and that was a wild ride. Parked at a bad angle in his pit box, but or in somebody else's pit box. I guess it wasn't his, but that's such a hard break for him. You know, he started on pole, really had a fast car, and you know now it's all gone away because you were 4 wide and got run over.
Now, who I was watching there on that restart, Alex Bergeron had a tremendous jump on the gas. He nailed the cushion, and he gained what would have been at the very least 3 positions until they ended up wrecking out themselves. But how about Alex Bergeron already from 10th onto the podium now?
Yeah, well, I talked about him before we had that last restart. He restarted from the 5th spot. You know, he's looking to try and get a win. It's been a while since he's won in this series. You know, why not do it here at Bristol? You know, he hasn't won since race number 2 back at USA International in February in this series. It's been a while. He's hungry. He's going to want to get back to victory lane at some point. And he's in a good spot now that he can try and make it happen.
Re-rack them, restack them, ready to go back green. 10 laps down, 25 to go at Bristol. We won't have another race for the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series until we come back July 27th and 28th at Knoxville for the 410 Classic. So this is your last attempt for a while at least to get yourself some money, get yourself fighting against some of the best on the sim, get yourself some experience as well. Aiden Barlane right now sitting in 3rd. What can he do? Or excuse me, in the lead right now. What can he do to get himself out front? Get away from everyone. Cameron Merriman, Alex Bergeron, your top 3. Austin Semmelman, David Heilman in 4th and 5th. Tyler Schell, Jesse Dacus in 7th. Trey Schmidt 8th. Carlin Cure up to 9th. Brad O'Brien now in the 10th position. Almost done pacing. Like you said, Jacob, the guy leading the most laps today has been the pace truck so far. He'll peel up and hopefully give these guys a chance to change that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So we've got 25 to go when we get the green flag. I'm sure Byerlin would just love to click off laps because I think he thinks that he's got the best car on the grid, and he may be right. There's only one way to find out. But Bergeron got a great restart that last time around and was able to get into 3rd. The only problem is that 3rd place has been the trouble spot on these restarts the last couple of times with Merriman and Sansone having issues on the restart. We'll see here.
Byerlin back on the gas. Merriman behind him, under attack quickly from Alex Bergeron. Up atop the cushion. We'll see if he can make that work. Semmelman and Merriman on the inside, and Semmelman makes it work inside, moving into 3rd.
Yeah, I wonder if the inside has just got the grip and the outside's losing that grip. You know, we haven't seen pace laps before tonight. Maybe the pace laps have affected the track a little bit. And that's why the outside line has lost a lot of its moisture or what. But Semmelman out in that 3rd spot. He got loose, and here comes Bergeron with a big head of steam, gets by him.
Had to make it work on the inside. Semmelman back down the bottom. Bergeron just barely keeps it off the wall and will just barely hold on to 3rd. Semmelman's still there fighting for it, though. Dacus has now moved into the 6th position, that bright yellow number 7. He's reeling in David Heilman for 5th.
I was just going to mention Heilman, that he's kind of slid his way into 5th spot quietly. Like a Matt Kenseth kind of day, but Cameron Merriman doing what Cameron Merriman does. He's fighting for the lead on Berlin right now, heading to turn 1.
Merriman has really been working a different lane than Byerlin, and then Byerlin moved down to the bottom, and they are right bumper to bumper. This time by will be 20 laps to go, and I think Merriman just kind of settling in and watching his marks and watching where he can make the pass here, because he certainly has the speed. These two have checked out from the field as Bergeron still trying to hold off Semmelman.
And I think Merriman is thinking, please no caution, please no caution. He thinks he's got the best long-run car, clearly, if he's pushing this hard to get by Byerlin. And he's there, but Alex Bergeron's broken away from everybody else. Now, problem is he's the second back from Merriman and Byerlin.
This is your top 2, $100 to win, 75 to second. Not a bad day, but it's $25 worse. Merriman trying to cut down to the inside, really using that untapped moisture on the bottom, pulls up side by side down the straightaway. Can't quite keep up though with the 13.
He's going to try it again here. Oh, he got into him coming off the corner. That's going to cost Merriman some time here.
They have plenty of time to give. Bergeron is beginning to get a gap on Austin Semmelman, at least to some extent. They still have a 1 second lead over Bergeron. These two continue to duke it out, and everyone beginning to, I think, relax a little bit. Heilman trying to work on Semmelman, Snell trying to work on Dackets.
Merriman he was all the way at the wall and made it work in 1 and 2 to get the lead. Byerlin can't make it work. Merriman to the front.
Byerlin just does not have that inside lane down like Cameron Merriman does. Went on a tear in the month of March, won 4 races in a row. He has 5 wins on the season. It's been almost a month since his last victory at Lernerville, and he now leads the way at Bristol.
Just got to keep it together, because we've seen the last couple of weeks he's been out in front, and then the closing stages, you know, it's been Daniel Heilman that's kept Merriman awake at night, and Heilman's been able to sneak in there and get a couple. And then, of course, you had last week where he wasn't as big of a factor. Kendall Tucker got the win, and Merriman just kind of rode around the top 5 all night long. Merriman right now, he looks as good as I've seen him, I think, so far.
Dankis is working Tyler Schnell right now for the 6th position. Heilman still on the tail tank of Austin Semmelman. And these 4 drivers still in a cluster. You see them all working 4 different lines as well.
Yeah, this is the point where the track is able to be spread out and they're able to run different lines. Problem is if you run too close to the wall, you got a pretty good chance that you're going to knock it down and hit it. So there's a fine line here at this racetrack.
Coming to 10 laps to go, Cameron Merriman now has a lead over 1 second over Aiden Byerlin. Alex Bergeron in second behind him in third. Semmelman and Heilman still duking it out right now, swapping positions. Whoa. Now here's a battle, a little bit of contact. Able to keep it straight though.
Yeah, Tyler Schell almost ate the inside wall and has got Carlin Cure all over him like a cat on Velcro here through 1 and 2.
Coming to 13 laps to go now. Still working that outside lane. Schnell again around Carlin Cure for a moment. And now coming in is Dackis, is also in for P5 as Semmelman and Heilman are duking it out.
Yeah, how about that great run from Heilman on the bottom, Semmelman with a better run on the high side. Heilman's going to try it again. He's not getting as low as Merriman was. And it's just not working out for him. As here comes Dackis on the high side, trying to go 3 wide up the middle.
Yeah, Dackis using the middle line. It is slicked over, but has plenty of marbles over the top of it. So iRacing basically says, yeah, that's at least a little bit of grip. So he's able to use that. Still can't quite thread the needle, though, against Semmelman and Heilman. Gets in front of Heilman, who's on the inside. Now trying to work on Semmelman, who's on the outside, and they're going to even out here.
Yeah, and Dackis going to try and get by Semmelman here. Sends it in. Has a good run. He might be able to clear him here off of 4. Can't do it, though. Semmelman with a big head of steam, but I'll be darned, Dackis was able to make it work.
Jesse Dackis right now has $25 to his name just based on tonight. He is your hard charger with a gain of 8 spots since the beginning of this race. 12th to 4th. Great run for Dackis. Bergeron in front of him started in 10th. But he's still got a little bit of work to do, over a second and a half to get to Bergeron, who's starting to reel in Aiden Byerlin.
He's running out of time, though. We've got 2 to go at start finish. He's going to need a Hail Mary of all Hail Marys here to get by Byerlin, but Byerlin slipped there in 1 and 2. Bergeron's got it down under a 10th.
Merriman is gone. 2.5 second lead coming to the final lap. Here's the move here for Bergeron. Looking to get a little bit of gain, but for everyone else, it's done. Cameron Merriman out front. This will tie him for the all-times wins list. Cameron Merriman takes the win at Bristol. The battle for second, banging wheels. And that one was tight. Wow. Aiden Byerlin will take home second. Alex Bergeron third. Jesse Dackis, a great run for him in fourth. David Heilman rounds out the money spots, taking home fifth. Boy, that one had a lot of action for spreading out like that. Bristol on dirt delivers in the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series, Jacob.
And they were able to keep it clean there the last 20 laps. I'm happy about that. We didn't sit around and didn't pace for forever. Great job by Cameron Merriman to get out in front and just to pull it away. And Alex Bergeron so close to that second spot. I mean, just almost had it there on Byerlin. One more lap, and I think he would have had it.
Some tight battles, and they were all worth money. The top 5 taking home some cold, hard cash. But the one taking home the most, $100 to Cameron Merriman, and his 7th career win in the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series. That ties him at the top of the all-time wins list with Alex Bergeron. Merriman with $100. Aiden Byerlin will take home $75 for his second-place performance. Alex Bergeron, a $50 night, getting 3rd. Jesse Dacus, he'll take home $25, going from 12th to 4th rather. David Heilman, $10 to him. He takes home the 5th spot. Austin Semmelman put up a good fight but couldn't hold back Dacus or Heilman. He takes home 6th. Carlin Curran 7th. Kevin Hanley takes home 8th. Brad O'Brien, good run for him, taking home 9th. Tyler Schell will take home the 10th position tonight.
Richie Preston in 11th, and Trey Schmidt finishes in 12th. Jacob Denny 13th. Tyler Wilson 14th. Randy Shrevez finishes 15th. He finished one lap down and then did not finish out of the race. Vinny Sansone, the pole sitter, in 16th. Okay, scoring shows 2 different things. How about Kendall Tucker in 16th, Vinny Sansone, the pole sitter, in 17th, Felix Roy 18th, Sean Brown 19th, and Garrett Halsey in 20th. Both of them only got 2 laps under their belt before things got turned upside down.
Well, it has been quite the year for Cameron Merriman. Win number 6 in this season alone. He has been phenomenal all year long. Cameron Merriman taking home $100 and a plethora of victories this year. And Cameron, with this victory, you now tie for the most wins in the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series with Alex Bergeron. And it came at a track that a lot of guys had difficulties at. What does it mean to grab win number 7 in your career here in the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series?
It's awesome, and it's really humbling too, because I don't think that I came into the series expecting to be that successful, and certainly had a lot of races where it didn't look like I was going to come away with the win, and was able to, mount a strong charge late or be able to hold off some strong charges behind me, and just got fortunate to be able to take away that many wins. I think that I was chatting with David Heilman, like, hey, what's this thing going on Wednesday nights? And like, oh yeah, Brody has got a, DSCCS going on Wednesday nights, and why don't you come run with us? So I ended up coming in like race 3 or 4, and I would say I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but it was a hell of a lot of fun, and I'm certainly glad that I did, because we put on some excellent racing, a lot of great shows, and yeah, I'm certainly humbled to have come away with that many wins, because we had a great crew of drivers here almost every single week, almost filling up the server. So awesome, first and foremost, and a big tip of the hat to all the competition who gave me a great run for my money, and bested me a few nights, certainly.
Well, you put on a great show, just patiently waiting behind Aiden, and then eventually taking off and winning by 2.5 seconds. Kind of take me through what made the difference tonight. You had the speed, but then you showed off the patience. You just waited behind Aiden and waited for your mark, made the move, and just like that, the 42 was gone. Yeah,
good question. Bristol is a really interesting track, and I don't think, I'll call it the meta. The way that the lines develop in the track throughout the night, given where the quickest people will run at a given moment, the track will wear in a certain way. And some of the tracks that have been on the service for, much longer than others, it's almost kind of like a known commodity. And that's something that maybe differs from real life. You show up to the real track and maybe you don't know exactly how the track will wear in. But, with how many laps we get to turn here on iRacing, get to tune the knobs on the conditions, you kind of know where you're going to have to be in a given session. And with that said, Bristol's pretty new. I think a lot of guys haven't quite figured it out, but I've like staked my key and just committing myself to the bottom, and I've been able to find a lot of pace. So Aiden was definitely the quickest person on track early in the race. He flew around me and I think took the lead relatively early. So I knew that I just wanted to be patient, because I knew the top would eventually go away, because a lot of people are attracted up to the cushion, but it's just such a long way around this track. So like you said, I was patient, and then sure enough, Aiden actually had to try to commit himself to the bottom, because he was losing a lot of time to me on the splits around midway through the race, lap 18, maybe lap 20, I'm not sure exactly. But so he came down to try and run a competitive line and maybe, put the onus on me to make the pass. So at that point, I knew I had the better setup and maybe the better idea of exactly where to run. So like you said, I just had to be patient. I put one move on it. It didn't quite stick. I knew that rather than, maybe take each other out, I just give them the spot back and, kind of wait for the track to come to me. And certainly that did happen. And I was able to snag the spot out of 2. And then as long as you can compete for it into 3, you've given yourself a chance to take that position on merit. And that was what I was able to do. And then of course, once you're in kind of clean air and you can have the whole track and real estate to yourself, it's much easier to kind of run away with it. So that's kind of my thought process there. Certainly had to be patient behind Aiden, but also kind of being wary if he makes a mistake or something else. So it's a lot of things. You got to be really quick, twitch fingers on the wheel and on the pedals. So was fortunate to be able to get around him because he was really quick tonight.
Made it work, made the move, got the win. Who do you have to thank for taking it home on the top step of the podium tonight?
For having such a successful season, I just got to thank Brody so much for putting this thing on. Maybe I've come away with a bit of money out of his pocket, but this has been phenomenal, and I cannot express my thanks enough for him to put on this series. It's not easy, managing this many drivers in the field. So everybody who makes this series happen, especially Brody, just having the patience and the consistency in terms of penalties that he's given out and the enforcement of the rules. I think that we have a really great league here. So it has been an absolute joy to participate in, and I can't thank him enough. So, and of course, you guys up in the broadcast booth, I adore coming up here. You guys give me a great soapbox to chat on and talk through my mental. So obviously, big kudos to you as well. Much appreciated.
For the 6th time this season, Cameron Merriman is $100 richer. Cameron, congratulations. We look forward to seeing you again here a couple months now, away from now, but congratulations again.
Thank you.
Cameron Merriman. Now we'll catch up with your second place driver, Aiden Byerlin. Not able to hold on for the win, Jacob, but still puts up a great show.
Aiden Byerlin able to come up into that second spot. Strong car on the short run, but Merriman just had you on the long run.
Yeah, I thought I was set up for the long run. I thought I wasn't going to – I maybe would have had a third place for like the very first 20 out of 35 laps, but it went the opposite way somehow, and I'm just happy to get a second here in one of the hardest sprint car leagues out there.
And before we said you're on your way to celebrate your $75 and the second place finish, anybody want to thank? Say hi to.
First off, I'd like to thank Jesus Christ, my mom, my dad, Reflection Chemistry, Extreme House Buyers, Dave's Truck Service, Beerline Trucking, Redline Race Designs, and Alex Bergeron for all the help setup-wise and coaching-wise. Go check him out. He helped me out a lot the last couple months. And, I mean, just everyone that works in the car besides, like, everyone that just works in the car.
Well, congratulations on the $75, the second place, and we will see you at the end of next month for for what's going on in Knoxville. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Aiden Byerlin, the second place finisher here tonight from Bristol Motor Speedway.
And now we'll talk to your third place driver, Alex Bergeron, able to take home the third place position after starting off in 10th. Alex, what did you have to do to work your way through the field? We saw a few drivers try to do it, but not very many were able to get through there and for yourself get up to the podium.
Yeah, we definitely did good in the feature. Just said we had to start a bit further back there. It's tough when you go in the heat race and you intentionally get hit and try to get your pace down intentionally. That's not too good to do. So, but it's okay. We'll keep on going and do what we have to do to work our way every time and do our best. The feature, we definitely did a good job with the car. The car was really good. Just the time we battled there with Austin. When we had that restart and no yellows after that, it just I think that killed us a little bit. And definitely try to do different lines, try to top, the middle, the bottom, trying to see where was the fastest. And I think I lost time doing that. Maybe I should have just stick to the bottom there and try to run the same lap times or the same lines, I should say, that I did there at the end. Was faster than Cameron there. The last few laps I did, so just gotta learn from that and move on. But from 10th to 3rd, I think it's a really good thing, especially on a track like this.
A two-time champion, the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car World Championship, and I know it's a couple months away now, but it doesn't matter what kind of sprint car fan you are. Everyone loves Knoxville, and I know that for guys like you, going to race at virtual Knoxville is a big deal. The next time we'll see you guys is the 410 Classic. So what's the plan when we get out there to Knoxville to go out, win the big money race against some of the best in this platform?
Just gotta do what we do best, and get ready for the race. Have a good car, have a good mentality, go into the race, be confident. There's not much else you can do. Really just have a bit of luck on your side and try not to get hit intentionally. So it's kind of like the only thing we can do there. So, just keep working hard, just like I said, we just have to keep going and do what we do best and get a good car ready for there. This is not my favorite track by any means. My least favorite, but we'll try to do our best and get it done.
Still able to bring it home in third, $50 richer. Alex, who do you have to thank for bringing it home on the podium tonight?
As always, definitely Team BRE Sports, Rebecca, Jason, everyone that supports this team in any ways. All of our partners, CSI Shocks, the Pitlogic app, BK Designs, Martin Farm Equipments, ABRSF Shop, Cinemtography, Wraps and Stitches, Grassy 3R, Stucco, and really everyone that supports us, like I mentioned. And you guys are broadcasting doing an awesome job. My dad for watching all the time, and hopefully next time we can do a bit better in the race, the big race coming up. So hopefully we can get it done. So we'll see what we can do.
Couple months away, we go to Knoxville, but for now, Alex Bergeron, the third place finisher, and taking home $50. Alex, congrats, and we'll see you in a couple months.
Thank you, Devin.
Alex Bergeron, your third place finisher, rounding out your podium at Bristol Motor Speedway. Well, we got plenty more craziness coming up for you. If you thought this was crazy, just wait until we get the eNASCAR Road to Pro Qualifying iRacing Series. We're going to Martinsville. It's going to be wacky coming up on Thursday night, live on the Podium Esports Twitch channel. And then on Friday, let's get even wackier. How about Fast Friday, brought to you by McConey Setup Shop? That will be on June 4th, Friday night at Watkins Glen. How well do these new next-gen cars work on road courses? We'll see who can kind of shake it out on the Podium Esports Twitch. And then it's time for Formula Hybrid, wheel to wheel. They're going to New Hampshire. That will be on Saturday morning, 11:45 Eastern, right here on Podium 2. And I love this, man. The Esports Drift Association, they will be at the Mega Space location. That will be June 5th, 1 Eastern on the Podium Esports channel. And then it's going to be wacky. It's going to be chaotic. The MPI Cup Series. It is the final race. It's the semifinal race of the round of 8. The winner moves on to the championship 4. The top 2 in points move on to the championship 4 for some major swag. They're going to Michigan on the Podium Esports channel Sunday night, 9:15 Eastern. And then Monday Night Racing, taking the Miatas, the MX-5s to Lime Rock. Your favorite drivers, Ron Capps, Ryan Vargas, Kyle Busch, they're all going to be there, we think. We'll see. Sometimes drivers have real-life implications, but nonetheless, Monday, June 7th, 8 Eastern on Podium 2. Parker Kligerman, I can just go on and on. The All-Stars that join Monday Night Racing. It's going to be a lot of fun. Finally, PCA Sim Racing coming on up on June 9th, 8 Eastern on their YouTube channel, PCA Sim Racing. Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta coming up for PCA Sim Racing. The next time that you will see these guys on track, the 2021 Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series. Big money, big race, 2-day show, July 27th and 28th, the 410 Classic at Knoxville Raceway. Man, you're going to want to be there. It's going to be a great time here on Podium Esports. Well, Jacob, that's going to do it for us for this regular season from February to June. It was wild. It was chaotic. We gave away a ton of money, and we saw so many great battles and great drivers, and capping it off with a really exciting race here at Bristol.
And yet another Cameron Merriman win. That's been the theme of the season pretty much. He wins early, he wins in the middle, he wins at the end, and that's what matters. He is always on and is always looking to capture the flag first. He was able to do it tonight at Bristol.
And congratulations to tonight's Podium Esports Hard Charger. Up 11 spots, started 19th, finished 8th. Kevin Hanley, your Podium Esports Hard Charger. And before we go, Jacob, your expectations in 2 months when we hit Knoxville, the legendary raceway of all of dirt track racing.
That's going to be a lot of fun. You know, seeing that on the calendar, Knoxville is an incredible racetrack, especially with these cars. It's a track that certainly these guys are going to be familiar with. They've got plenty of time to work on their cars for when we go there at the end of July. We're going to see a lot of great racing. We're going to see a lot of excitement, and it's going to be an incredible, incredible event.
Gonna be a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun tonight. Glad to have everyone watching along with us here on Podium 2, Podium Esports. It was a fun one. For Brody Wilhelm at the Dirt Sprint Car Championship Series, for Ryan Bauer, James Pike, Cisco Scarmuza, Gary Sexton, and John Theodore at Podium Esports, and of course my colleagues in the booth, Jacob Hitz and Justin Prince, our camera creator, Dougie Beard, and tonight's producer, Zach Johnson. I am Devin Henry. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast, and we hope to see you tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow for the qualifying series at Martinsville. Have a great night, everyone.